And there's sometimes I have moments, especially like when I auditioned, I remember just feeling silly, and he was only in half the suit because it was just a camera test, and just thinking like, we're adults and we're dressed up like Batman and we're doing a really dramatic scene, and it's just like sometimes it's like, oh my God, this is happening, and sometimes it's like, this is funny. I don't know.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, because you gotta.
What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on The Batman 2021, unless it gets delayed. So, we've got some pretty cool information today. Zoe Kravitz recently did an interview where she described, it was on Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, which is an up-and-coming podcast. It's really popular. She basically described a scene that she had to do whilst auditioning to play Catwoman. And I don't know if it was specifically Robert Pattinson, but I presume she's on about Robert Pattinson, was in half of the Batman suit, and they were both adults in a very serious scene pretending to be superhero-based characters, which sounds ridiculously funny. I wish you could give more context. So it is pretty cool. So recently it's come out. Now I don't have an account on the publication website that is productionlist.com, but I was sent a production list that states the Batman movie will be shooting July the 6th, 2020, and it puts the locations as Chicago, London and Scotland. Now, I don't know if they are shooting in Chicago, but I presume they will be at some point. And July the 6th does line up to me, to be honest, because here in the UK, they've recently just taken the alert down to level 3. Most shops are open, so July the 6th is a few weeks away. And we know that there was an article on Deadline.com that did say Jurassic Park will be shooting on July the 4th, I believe it was, or the first week of July. Might have even been July the 6th in Pinewood Studios just outside London. So if one big movie can shoot, another can shoot, but it's not been given the green light officially. So it's looking likely that sometime in July, but I wouldn't say it's that reliable in the sense that I've not gone onto the website myself because I don't have an account. So there's also some pretty cool interviews with Robert Pattinson talking about the Batman role. And Zoe Kravitz also talked about the Batman role again. Now, it is pretty cool. She does reveal some tidbits about what's been going on. And she said about what Robert Pattinson is like in the suit. And I'm going to quote, she said, "Wow, it's amazing. He's the Batman when he's wearing that costume. He is Batman. It's interesting. You really don't get used to seeing Batman walk past you. We've all grew up with these characters, so it's like a pinch me moment all the time. He's wonderful. He's really wonderful. It's cool that everyone keeps praising him. So if you are new around here, guys, make sure to subscribe to never miss any videos. At the 100,000 subscriber mark, I will be giving away something pretty darn cool. And if you could check me out on twitch.tv/Warstu, I will be streaming The Last of Us 2 from 8 p.m. to 9, give or take. So if you want to check it out, it will be cool." So Zoe also commented on the script again, and she said where the inspiration is coming from. "I've been reading the Year One comic. It's wonderful. It's great. It's like super badass. It's badass laughs." So she's hinting that the Catwoman suit could be something similar to Year One, which is interesting. So it's pretty cool that she's taken in an interest in a personal life to read these comics, because I'm pretty sure they don't actually have to read these comics, but sometimes they decide to read these comics, which is cool. And she also went on to talk about the cat suit. That is pretty obvious that we're going to get the reveal at the DC Fandome in August. So she said this: "It's funny, I really don't think about how difficult it is to make something look like original catsuit. Like, how do we reinvent the jean jacket, you know? But sure, our everything costume designer is just a genius. It was a really cool process to be a part of, because sometimes with films with such big capacity, it can be very much put this on, stand over there, say this." And Matt Reeves is very much about the process. The whole thing, designing the suit, began with the conversation between me, Matt, and Jackie. Jacqueline's obviously the person that's making this suit. We kind of birthed this thing together, and the references of the Year or comics we're dealing with is cool. If whatever happened shouldn't have happened, then it would have already come out by now and you're gonna love it. So everyone seems to think, based on these comics year one, that it's going to be a purple-ish suit. Now, she did go on to say the following. Zoe also said it was a bummer to be right in the middle of shooting and having to shut down. However, I'm pretty sure her wait to resume shooting is going to start pretty soon, because she says also the same things. Fingers crossed we start shooting early July. So it seems that some people on the cast and crew have been told that the Batman movie will be start shooting early July, which lines up with reports and what is going on with, obviously, the UK. So it looks like the fan art that we've used before was spot on. So Matt Reeves is absolutely the man for this job. The script is phenomenal. Now everyone keeps talking about how great the script is, which gets me hyped because we need a great script. We know it's going to be based around the long Halloween, so it's going to have multiple rogue villains. So if you remember a few weeks ago when we did a video on it, but we made it clear that Robert Pattinson was trolling. You remember when he said he's refusing to work out, he's not going to touch a weight, and you had loads of people on Twitter, Instagram, all over the place slating Robert Pattinson when I pretty much said in that video that he was trolling. He really was trolling. Do you really think someone that is going to be the face of a new Batman universe franchise is going to refuse to work out? So recently he was talking in an interview, and he talked about his preparation for the role, the pressure on becoming a superhero in an interview for a health magazine. He also talks a lot about his workout regime and his body transformation, because obviously most people either have to lose weight or put weight on. So it is pretty darn interesting what he had to say. So he said this: it's all about pushing boundaries and building up to the point where you know you can do justice to the physicality required, he explained. And past that, so much of it's letting the special effects and on-screen exchange produce the real magic. Overall, it's very exciting. So not only is Pattinson had to reach a physical condition he's never needed for previous roles, which is very interesting because he is also in Tenet, or Tenant as people in UK call it, and that looks very physical. He'll have to maintain it too, though he recently admitted lockdown has got in the way of progress in every project I've ever taken on. I've come into it wanting to learn and achieve new things, he says. There usually is the embodiment of the character, someone who has a different personality to me, but taking on a full physical transformation as well feels even more exciting. Ultimately, I'm not afraid of failure, he adds. It's fair to say I'm a little bit more ambitious in this role I'm choosing now for a few years. I would have ran a mile for anything with physical edge. Perhaps that comes from the school upbringing that saw the actor harness creativity and intellectual over competitiveness prowess. Either way, he admits to enjoying his belated addiction to fitness, so to speak. The school I went to was incredibly arty and inspirational. He says sports were on offer, typically rugby, cricket, football, but I was more swayed towards creativity. It feels as if I'm going full circle, picking up on some physical and strength along the way. I ignore it back, but it's coming back into a lot of projects these days, so perhaps I should have just listened more in PE. So it is funny that this comes out now that he has got a quite hefty workout regime, when a lot of people, what he said about his initial comments about doing any gym related works, he was just trolling the internet and everyone thought he was being serious. So he went on to say, yet he admits that there's something different about the Batman. Any actor will go through periods where they hesitant and question whether it can live up to a character in a script or expectation that go with it. Pattinson admits, you look at true warriors for superheroes, Hemsworth, The Rock, Downey, Junior Evans, and wonders if you're putting yourself into the wrong place, and yet haven't spoken to a few. I know. Everyone is nervous when the opportunity comes about. He's just going on about the expectations of becoming Batman, and don't get me wrong, there is huge expectations, but if you really think they're going to introduce a Batman that hasn't worked out at all, he's got to be in somewhat shape. Batman is essentially a ninja, so expect him to be more lean, but not bulky. But I presume throughout the process, because there is rumoredly going to be 3 movies at the moment, if they do well, but it is a Batman movie. But then again, Batman vs Superman didn't do much well. We're expecting this to do great, so it's interesting that the internet thought that he wasn't working out when he is. He was just trying to be funny during lockdown. He has got a bit of a quirky sense of humor, and it is cool that Zoe Kravitz has basically told us that the Catwoman suit is going to be from the year 1 comic, which is pretty cool. So guys, let me know what you think about all this new information. Did you believe Pattinson when he said that he was never working out, which is kind of ridiculous for the role that he's doing? So it is looking likely that we'll be getting some kind of teaser at this DC Fandome event, because they've already got footage. We've technically seen Catwoman in the cat suit on the bike when they were shooting just outside of London, but we haven't physically seen the reveal. Now, the reason they revealed the Batmobile just before they stopped shooting it was because they were about to shoot in London. Sorry, they're about to start shooting in Liverpool, but then they didn't. But I'm pretty sure that the schedule will be all over the place due to whatever restrictions the UK government will put on it. But like always, guys, I will give you up to date with all the latest DC, Marvel, pop culture based news. Really looking forward to this Batman movie coming out next year in October, which is cool because it's my birthday month, which is awesome. So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.